being, and love emerges. I feel confident. I feel secure. I feel there is a great stability now. There is strength, and there is the power to create a life of quality, a life of meaning, a life of purpose. I have found my focal point, my inner compass to direct my external life. And as I remain here, inside, I ask myself, where do I come from? In the stillness, I hear the silence. I listen, and I realize that my original home is very, very far from this world of sound, of time, of matter. I come from a world of eternal light, a world of silence, a world of peace. That is my home. This is where I come from. And with my thought, I travel upwards to the world of liberation, the world of nirvana. Let me remain in this consciousness of the self, of the peaceful self, and the peaceful home. Peace, harmony, and silence. Let me remain here. Peace and silence. Only silence.
आईना साफ किया, साफ नजर में आया। आईना साफ किया, साफ नजर में आया। जो मैं को साफ किया, जो मैं को साफ किया, साफ नजर तू आया। रब को मेहरबान पाया। आईना साफ किया, साफ नजर तू आया। ये मैं मेरा ही मुझको तुझसे दूर
Am I talking to myself respectfully, lovefully? Am I talking to myself with dignity? Do I uphold my self-esteem when I am talking to myself? Just reflect on these questions for some time. We are very careful when we are talking to other people. We don't want to hurt them. We don't want to put them down. We take care not to bruise them. Do I take care of myself? Do I know the art of talking to myself? Just check. Do you talk to yourself in a manner you wouldn't talk to another person? Where is my relationship with myself going this way? What kind of a relationship am I forging with myself? Just sit with these thoughts for some minutes. Om Shanti. So, did you check how you talk to yourself? Yes. Did you check how you talk to yourself? Would you go and tell another person they insulted you, or it is really wrong for them to be talking to you like this, and you must feel insulted, you must feel bad? Whenever someone tries and tells you that this person misbehaved with me, you say, let go, it is okay, you should stay in your self-esteem. Why do you listen to that person? But when it comes to yourself, how do you talk to yourself? If somebody has not behaved the way you expected them to behave, how is it that you talk to yourself? So, would you tell another person 10 times they insulted you, they insulted you? You know that if they come to the realization that they insulted, if they come to the realization that they were insulted, they will feel bad. So even if you think that there was insult, you say, no, it's okay. They just expressed their opinion. You don't think too much about that. And you don't know their nature. They are like that. They talk like this, and it's okay. So you counsel the other person and you make sure that they don't feel bad inside. But how do you talk to yourself? Do you talk in a manner which uplifts you or makes you feel good about yourself? Or do you keep putting yourself down? You know why I came up with this topic today? Because there is somebody, and that person called me yesterday, and they were sharing that, and Didi, you see, my work didn't get appreciated, and then I feel like I'm not good enough, or I feel that I am low in caliber, and that is why my work is less appreciated than the other persons, who I am in competition with. Their work is appreciated more and mine is appreciated less. So I feel very miserable about myself, and maybe I'm not good enough, and I keep comparing myself to him, and all my attention is on his work these days. I don't even see my work these days more. So I told him, what if I told you the same thing? For example, I walked up to you one day and said, your opponent's work is very good and your work is very bad, and I keep constantly comparing you to them. So that person said, no, I wouldn't like it if you did that to me. So I said, but you are doing it to yourself all day. So, do you remember when we were kids and somebody compared us to another person, maybe my own sibling or my friend or somebody, and we were told that this person is better than you? Then we felt so bad about it, and we felt really annoyed on the person who did that, and we felt that this person has no sense and sensibility, and how can they compare me to that fellow, and I'm much better, or even if I'm not better, they shouldn't compare. So you know that for in case of other people, you are very sure that they shouldn't compare you with other people. But then when it comes to your own self, you keep comparing yourself to 10 other people, and you keep creating that feeling of misery. So why don't you tell yourself that, no, I am better than the other person, or I am good enough? So even if nobody believes in me, I believe in myself. Can't you say this to yourself? So we know how we would like to talk to other people. We know what conversation would hurt them or affect them. And we also know how we would like other people to talk to us, but we don't do the same thing to ourselves. So if you missed an opportunity, or if you made a mistake and somebody came and kept pointing fingers at you and kept telling you that you are no good and you keep making mistakes and you are a failure, you don't like that fellow. Or you also, in your senses, you don't go and do this to other people. So if somebody has fallen down, you make sure that you don't go and hurt them where they are already hurt, and you make sure to be considerate, and you tell them it's okay, even if you have the best performance, sometimes you don't win and it is okay. But then when it comes to you, why do you keep telling yourself that I am a failure, or I have not done good enough, or I am good for nothing? So why do you do these things to yourself when you wouldn't do it for others, or when you wouldn't like if others did the same to you? So we are too hard on ourselves, don't you think so? Yes, we are too hard on ourselves. And also, sometimes I think about this. So, if probably if I'm alone and I'm not in my best state, if somebody came and they said, oh, you are lonely, poor you don't have anybody to take care of you, you wouldn't like that kind of a conversation at that time. But then when you are lonely, you still keep telling yourself, I'm miserable, I'm lonely, I have nobody to take care of myself. And you are putting yourself down, right? So you are not encouraging yourself, you are discouraging yourself, or you are disappointing yourself, or you are having pity on yourself. You wouldn't like anybody else to pity you, but then why do you keep doing it to yourself? You always keep telling yourself, poor me, and I am miserable, and I am. But when you go in front of 10 people, you want to put a show of, I am strong and I am fine, because you don't want other people to pity you. So, if pity is such a bad thing, why do you keep pitying yourself? So why don't you stop doing that to yourself and tell yourself, no, I'm good enough, I'm strong enough. It's okay. What is so wrong about being alone? I can handle myself. Yes. Even, when we leave kids alone, we tell them you are big enough and strong enough and you can take care of yourself. Then why don't we do the same things to ourselves? Yes, so this is something, we always, whenever we are alone in the privacy of our mind, we keep doing things to ourselves which we wouldn't do to others, or which we wouldn't do in front of others, and we are so obsessed with looking good. Why are we not so obsessed with being good or feeling good? So why do we always try to, put up a show in front of other people? So I will tell you, I read a post some time back on Facebook, and in that post there was a woman, and she was glorifying how, in her worst days, when she is in the worst state of mind, she still dresses up well and shows up at work, and she puts up a brave front, and she doesn't let anybody believe that she is any less, and these things. So there was a long post, and it was a copy paste, so it was a write up which was really written well. And then I chatted with that lady privately, and I asked her, why do you think that not being good and looking good should be glorified? Why don't we promote that? If I'm not in the best state of my mind, then I should either be able to own it up to everybody that I'm not in my best state and it's okay, or I should be interested in coming into my best state of mind despite the circumstances. So if I think looking bad is such a bad thing and I don't want to look bad come what may, then how can I feel bad or be bad come what may? So why don't we understand that if I understand the importance of looking good, I should also understand the importance of being right and being good and being fine. So you always tend to tell people that I am fine because you don't want them to know that you are not okay. But then if looking bad is such a bad thing, then being bad or being not okay is equally miserable. And then why don't we try to deal with that more than the looking part? So why don't we speak the right thoughts to ourselves, and why don't we have the right conversation with ourselves? So why do we keep telling other people I am strong more than I keep telling myself I am strong and I am good and I am fine? So this is something that we need to think about. So we have been trained to look good, we have been trained to look fine, we have been trained to present ourselves as strong and okay. But then it is time we started training ourselves to be fine and be good and be okay, because I have to live with myself, and I should create a world for myself where I feel okay. So even if nobody is looking, I am facing whatever thoughts I am creating and I am dealing with my feelings. So let me take care of them. It's very important. Do you agree with this? So you have to start checking what your internal conversation is. And you have to start understanding that you don't have to talk about what is, but you have to talk about what you want it to be. So we will understand the concept that consciousness creates reality. So whenever you create a consciousness, the reality is created likewise. So when you create a consciousness, I'm fine, you will create a reality of being fine. And if you tell yourselves, I'm not fine, because like somebody wrote that, because we say I'm not okay because at that time it is real. So don't talk about what is real, talk about what you want to be the reality. So don't think in the line of what is, think about what you want it to be, because your thoughts are creating your destiny, or thoughts become things, or consciousness creates reality. You must have heard these words earlier also. And this is the truth. So you have to think about yourself in a manner that you want yourself to be. So don't create this music inside or this noise inside. I'm miserable, I'm not okay. So even if your feelings are telling you you are not okay, create a thought, I'm okay, I'm fine. What is wrong with me? Let me count my blessings. Let me count what is fine today. And let me try to ward off those negative feelings and come to a positive place within myself by counseling myself. So we have to pay a lot of attention to the inner conversation that we are creating for ourselves. And do you know why we don't do this for ourselves? Because we have been conditioned to believe that it is somebody else's duty to make us feel okay. So, we have outsourced it to another person in our head, and we are waiting that that person will realize, and then they will come running to me and they will take care of me, because I have created this conditioning that that other person's duty is to make me feel okay. But is it not our own duty to make ourselves feel okay? Why outsource it and then complain that the person you outsourced it to is not playing his role well? So you can just take it back, take that responsibility back, and do that work for yourself. And believe me, we are enough to do that for ourselves. We know we can do that for ourselves, and we can create a good state of mind by talking to ourselves in the right way. But first we have to give up the illusion or the conditioning that other people are supposed to take care of us. So you see, there is this belief system that I am supposed to take care of other people and other people are supposed to take care of me. Yes, do you believe in this? That you are supposed to take care of other people and those other people are supposed to take care of you. And then you take care of them to the best of your ability, and then you sit and wait. Come and take care of me. And then when they don't, then you keep complaining and you say, I won't take care of myself until they realize that they have not done their duty, and they keep coming, keep run and come to me and realize and, apologize, and then they do their duty. But then in this whole quest, who is becoming miserable? That other fellow is not suffering, you are suffering. So the one who is suffering has to get the treatment done. So you should be interested in treating yourself because you are suffering. So you don't have to outsource your care to another person. This belief system that you are supposed to take care of others and others are supposed to take care of you is false. So you are supposed to take care of yourself, and when you take care of yourself, then from that place of being fulfilled and being okay and being happy, when you conduct yourself, then you automatically take care of others. Okay, whatever you speak will be high energy. Whatever you do will be filled with love. Whatever you think will be full of positivity and peace. So you will automatically be a source of power to others around you. So you don't have to take care of others, you have to take care of yourself, and as a byproduct, others will thrive in your presence. So this is how it actually works. And if you don't take care of yourself, then slowly you will not have the ability to take care of others either. Okay, so this is something. Now, today I want to talk about relationships and how we think that. So, we have talked about I am a soul and I have sanskars and I am looking at this world through my sanskars. So, my sanskars are creating the glasses or the filter through which I'm looking at this world. So if I have a black filter, everything looks black to me. If I have green glasses, everything looks green to me. If I have red glasses, everything appears red to me. So your perception of the world depends on your sanskars, right? Similar, and your experience of the world also depends on your sanskars. Your behavior also depends on your sanskars. So how you would behave in a particular situation doesn't depend on the circumstances, it depends on your sanskars. Similarly, when you are operating with other people, when you have other people around you, who are they? They are also souls with sanskars. Yes. So their perception of you is based on their sanskars. Their behavior towards you is based on their sanskar. Right? It has got nothing to do with you. And what they would do or not do for you, or how they would be with you, depends on who they are as a soul on their journey. It doesn't depend of more on who you are with them. It depends on who they are as a soul on this journey. So for example, if somebody has a sanskar of trust, they will trust you. It has got very less to do with your trustworthiness. Okay, if somebody has a sanskar of being respectful, they will respect you. It has got not much to do with whether you deserve respect or not. Right? But your vision of them can have an influence on them. For example, if somebody has a sanskar of trust, and you always think of them as not trusting you, so you think they doubt you, then this will also have an influence on them. Okay, but we will talk about this later. First, we will understand that every person you are dealing with in and around you is a soul, and they have their own sanskars. And even if you are looking at them as a role, what they will demonstrate is their sanskar. So, for example, if you are around a soul who is responsible, then they will behave responsibly. They have the sanskar of responsibility, they will behave responsibly. If you have a soul who has created a sanskar of being very evasive about work, or not taking responsibility of whatever they are entrusted with, then they won't take it, because that is their sanskar. Now, do you see everybody as a soul with sanskars, or do you see them in a role? So this is very important, because when you see people around you, you don't see them as souls. How you see them is my husband, my wife, my child. Yes, my father, my mother, my sibling. Yes, my friend. So you have this idea that this is my so and so. Now, let's take the example of a child. When you see a soul and you say, this is my child, what is your expectation of them? They should be just like you. They are an extension of you. Correct? They are an extension of you. They should be just like you. But no soul is an extension of you. So that one which you call my child is a different soul. And that soul has his own sanskar. So even if you think that you gave birth to them and they will do as much and the way you expect them to be and do and behave, they might be carrying sanskars which are very different from yours. And they might not exhibit your sanskars, and then you will be disappointed. But you are disappointed not because of them, you are disappointed because of your expectations. And those expectations which are arising out of a lack of knowledge. Right? So if you are very intelligent and you have great analytical ability, or you are a great singer or a swimmer or a dancer, and then you expect your child to be the same, then you might be disappointed, because maybe your child doesn't have the same sanskars as you, because that soul is a different soul and they have their own journey. Yes, so then you would say, how can this be my child and this child is not nothing like me? And they are very different from me, but that is how it is supposed to be. So a soul is a soul on a journey, and they will display or exhibit whatever sanskars they have acquired along the journey, and it has got nothing to do with you. Your sanskars and that soul's sanskar may not match. Correct? So this is where the whole problem lies. Or then there is this is one thing, that the child is an extension of you. Then there is another belief system. What is the other belief system? The other belief system is that there is a concept of a good child and a bad child. So you say, beta, you are nice and good, and then sometimes you say, beta, you are not a good child. So why do you say you are not a good child or you are a good child? Because whenever I have discussed this earlier also, so you always give a name to a relationship. And whenever there is a name to a relationship, there are certain unwritten rules which you have to abide by. So whenever you say you are my child, then you are expected to be so and so obedient, disciplined and conforming, and you have to take care of me, or you have to assist me in this way or that way. And then if you do not conform to that charter, or you do not behave according to how I expect you to behave, according to the social norms set, that unwritten code that is there in the society, then you end up being a bad child. Yes, or for example, for that, even children say, my mother is not an ideal mother, or my father is not an ideal father. So your mother is supposed to be some filmy mother who fits in all the criteria of, she is very sacrificing, or she is very sweet and polite, and she doesn't shout at you for the mistakes you make. She's always hiding your mistakes, or that kind of an image you have. Or maybe your father should be a he-man, or he should be a big shot, and he should be able to meet all your needs and take care of whatever you want, because your father is not supposed to be human, he's supposed to be superhuman. So we have these expectations that parents should be perfect, or my parents should not lack in any aspect because they are parents. So parents are supposed to be a certain way, children are supposed to be a certain way. And then these expectations are what lead us to feel betrayed. So we feel betrayed because not because of who the other person is, but because of our expectations of them. So nobody betrays us. It is our expectations that betray us. So we will say that, okay, you betrayed me, or I was expecting this from you and you didn't do this. So it is not you, that person, because they never promised, or even if they promised, maybe they don't have the capacity to live up to their promise. But who is betraying you? It is your own expectation. So we must understand that people are not who we think they are. They are not the body they live in. They are not the age. They are not. So, sometimes people have this bizarre expectation about age. So they will say that up to 12, 13, 14 years of age, okay, you are dependent on me is fine. But then with this kind of an age, you are expected to do this. So at 16, you are expected to be this way, or at 18, you are expected to be this way, or at 30, you are expected to be this way, or when you get married, you are expected to be this way. But then that soul is on his own journey, and then they may not be that way at the age you expect them to be. So I know one mother and her son is not keeping well. So she always tells me, and with a heavy heart, and she's always very sad about it. She says that ever since he was born, we kept thinking that as he grows older, we will have two shoulders to rely on, and we will be okay, and we will have somebody as our support. But as it turns out, we have to be his support for all life, it seems. And it's not that the mother doesn't understand that the child has some issue, but then she feels very betrayed by the universe that she's in this kind of a situation. And then she says, what did I do wrong, or why was God so unfair to me, and why did my only child turn up to be like this, and I don't have any support in this old age. So I said, see, now I always tell this thing, and I will also share it with you. I asked that woman that you were fully capable of taking care of this child and of yourself up to when he was 18 or 19 or 20, right? So when did you stop having that capacity? When did you stop having that capacity? You had the capacity, right? You could take care of that child for until he was 18 or 19 or 20. So you stopped having that capacity of taking care of him and yourself both the day you thought this person should take care of me. So every person is very capable of taking care of himself and many others. But we stop having this capacity, or we start feeling that I need support, I can't support, the day I start expecting the other person to take care of me. Yes, so this is a very big thing, we grow weak in our mind, and expectation makes us very weak. Expectation makes us very, very weak, and it paves the way for sorrow and disappointment. I will share one example with you, and it's something that I think about many a times. So I don't know how many of you have seen Dadi Janki on television, or Dadi Janki ji was the chief administrative head of Brahma Kumaris, and she left her body some few months back, and she was 105 when she left the body. So up until 105, she took care of everybody around her, and she was always in good health, and she was always, conducting classes and taking care of the whole organization until that time. And I always admired Jayanti Didi ji also. So Jayanti Didi ji has been with Dadi Janki for very long, and Jayanti Didi ji also must be, I think, somewhere between 65 and 70 right now. But she was always with Dadi Janki, and she never grew old. So she never started thinking that now I need to be taken care of, because she always thought that I have to take care of Dadi, and when Dadi is so fit and fine, how can I grow old? So she was not allowed to take the thought that I am old and I need to be taken care of. So if you look at Jayanti Didi ji now also, she must be somewhere around 70, but she is so young and fresh and dynamic. She's like a child, because this thought that I am old or I need to be taken care of must never have crossed her mind. She was not allowed that, because she was always with Dadiji, and because Dadiji was so robust in health and she was always so active, and because Jayanti Didi was around her taking care of her, she was never allowed to feel old or grow old. So I think, this thought that I need to be taken care of is a very disempowering thought. And only when you create this thought that you start feeling miserable. So with parents also this thing happens. So until and unless the child grows up to being 16 or 18 or 20 or 25, something, whatever your programming is, so you allow yourself the thought that, okay, this child is young and I need to take care of them. But as soon as they grow old, you start creating the thought that now I need to be taken care of. And then that expectation kills you. That expectation leads to a series of disappointments. So then you keep counting. So I took care of this child for 16 years, and today, one day, this child can't take care of me, or I'm miserable, I'm not in good health. Took care of this child so many times when he was not in good health. But now that I'm not in good health, why can't this person take a leave and take care of me? And it's not the health, it's not the situation, it's not the condition. You have taken care of yourself for so long, you can take care of yourself forever. But as soon as you create this thought of expectation, the next moment you feel disappointment. And disappointment and sorrow are the energy that slowly kill you. Yes, so it is not people around us, it is our expectation of them that is very that causes us a lot of trouble. Now I will also give you one more example of this expectation. You see, let me give you a situation where, these people say that good karma. So if you help somebody, if you feed somebody, if you support somebody, that is good karma, right? But I will tell you, good karma is more about being in your power and then doing things than just doing things. Okay, so let me illustrate this thing today. So let's say you always cross a beggar on the street while you leave for office. So when you leave your home and you are on your way to office, you always spot a beggar. And then you create a thought, oh, this beggar is miserable and he doesn't have food to eat. So I should have some mercy on him. And then one day, what you do is, out of that feeling of mercy or that feeling of giving, or that sentiment of being the bigger one, what you do is you take out your lunch, which you had freshly packed for office, and you empty its contents into the beggar's bowl. So you have a big heart that day and you just try to give that whole food to the beggar, and it is your freshly packed lunch. And then you feel very great about yourself having done that. And the next moment, what you see is the beggar takes that bowl and empties it into the dustbin. So you gave your lunch to the beggar and the beggar threw it in the dustbin. Then how do you feel? Do you still feel great? Now you feel very irritated and angry. Now, why do you feel angry? You just did such a good act. You shared your freshly packed lunch with the beggar, and then now you feel miserable. So how can anybody who does good karma feel miserable? because of expectation. So, you sometimes feel that expectation means big things. But even the expectation that somebody would appreciate your help can make you feel miserable. So if the other person doesn't accept your help, or they don't accept your compliment, or they don't accept your cooperation, even that can make you feel very miserable, because you are expecting. So although you think you are giving, you are expecting the other person to feel good about it, and that is what makes you feel miserable. So sometimes you cook food and then you wait for the other person to eat it. Even if not appreciate it, at least eat it. And when they eat it, you feel the purpose of your cooking was fulfilled. But then if the other person just comes and says that, no, I already have a full stomach and I can't eat now, then you say, okay, then I'll throw it away. So you don't even want to store that food because you get so angry because the other person is not eating. So you expected that food to be eaten by the other person, and then that person to feel full or happy or contented, or at least, quench their hunger out of that food. But then that expectation having not been met also makes you feel miserable. So sometimes, we have the expectation of taking. Sometimes we have the expectation that my giving should be accepted or appreciated. Both these expectations make us feel miserable. And you must know that anybody who appreciates you will appreciate out of their sanskar. So if somebody has the sanskar that they respect, that you cooked and they should eat it, they will eat it. And if they don't have that sanskar, they will refuse it. And it's nothing to do with whether you could do it with love or not, or whether you spend 3 hours or 2 hours or 5 hours cooking it. So when you are operating with souls, you have to be very aware that you do what makes sense to you, and they will respond in a manner that makes sense to them. And what makes sense to each of us is a product of our sanskars. And everybody's sanskars are different. And you cannot force anybody to have the same sanskars as you. So if you expect them to be a certain way, you will more definitely be disappointed. So you must know that when you are operating with people around you, they are all souls in bodies and have performed a long journey. And according to that journey, they have different capacities. So some people don't have the capacity to give help. Some people don't have the capacity to take help. So I will give you one example. I once had a sister and in the center, and she just couldn't take help. So every time I went into the kitchen and said, "Can I help you?" she would just push me out and say, "No, no, Didi, you go. I will do things on my own." And I didn't know how to help her because she did so much of work and she never accepted any help. And sometimes, people told me that she doesn't like other people's interference and that she's very picky about doing things herself. But it was not about that. It was just about that sanskar of not being able to take help. Then, what I did is I devised a method to work with her. So I told her, from now on, you have to stop doing the kitchen duty. I am not giving you the kitchen duty. So I am taking you out of the kitchen duty and I am doing the kitchen duty and you have to help me. So she said, all right, I can help you. So she has the capacity to help, but she can't take help. So what I did is I changed the role and I said, I am the main person here and you are my helper. So then I did something and she did something and it worked well. So it's not about she being picky or choosy or she not allowing you in the kitchen, but it's just that she can't accept help. She doesn't like it. And most people have misinterpreted that, and many people told me so many things about her. But then when I started working with her, I discovered that no, it's not about that. It's about her own sanskar of not being able to accept help. So I devised this method and it worked really well. And I just kept telling her, you help me in this, you help me in that. And she did the work and I did whatever I wanted to do as part of the help there. So you must understand that whenever somebody is behaving in a certain way, it's about their sanskar and it's not about you. And never take the blame of anybody's sanskars on you, on yourself. I will also share one incident. So you see, once I conducted a session on Valentine's Day, and that session was at 8 in the evening. So do you know who turned up in that session? All those people who were very disappointed that day turned up in that session. So all those people who did not have any reason to celebrate Valentine's Day up to 8 in the evening came up for that session. Now that was a very different energy and everybody was so full of complaints and criticism and frustration. So I could sense that right away. And then when I started conducting the session about acceptance, they were like, they could have killed me that day. So they were all so angry about this word acceptance. And then there was this one brother and he said, sister, I just want you to stop for a minute and listen to me. So I said, okay, you tell me. So he said, how difficult is it to just if I just want my wife to call my parents one day in a year and wish them maybe, good luck or happy birthday or, something. How difficult is it for her to do this once a year? Is it that difficult? So can't she just talk to my parents nicely once a year? And do you think that I should take this thing about acceptance and understand that she's not capable of doing that? So I said, yes, you should understand that. So he said, no, you are talking like a feminist now, and you are talking about, you are a woman supporting other women. And he told me all this stuff also, and he was so angry. He said, I just told her to pick the phone and just ask my parents. They were not well and they wanted her to ask them, not me. So I just asked her to pick the phone and ask, how are you? And she said, I can't do that. And my whole day was spoiled. My Valentine's Day was spoiled. I had really big plans, but I didn't do anything because I was so upset. And how difficult is this? So I said, it's just difficult for her. Why don't you get it? And why does it matter so much to you that she has to do this once a year? If she is not doing it for 365 days and you are okay with it, why does it matter in that 1 second? So we say, why is it so difficult for her to do it once a year? Why is it so difficult for me to drop it once a year? It is so difficult for me to drop it once a year because all year I have a complaint against that one thing. So if you understand that that one thing is so big for you, why don't you get it is so big for her also? If you think that one thing matters and that one thing decides the fate of your relationship, then that one thing is so difficult that yes, it will decide the fate of your relationship. So this is the thing, we say, okay, this is important and why can't that person do it for once in a year? But if it is so important for you that you can't drop it once in a year, then she can't do it once in a year. That's how it goes. And we understand that I am getting so agitated because this one thing is not being done, that why can't we understand it is so difficult to do that one thing? And if it's not a big deal, why don't we drop it? So we all understand our sanskars. Where it pinches us, we understand. We understand how difficult it is for me to do this one thing. But why don't we understand it is equally difficult for the other person? And we all have our own abilities, our own shortcomings. We all have our grudges, our traumas, our grievances. And then we are all dealing with it individually. So we just can be kind and compassionate and considerate and accepting and understanding about people's sanskars and not take it personally. It is not about you. It is about the other person. It is about their sanskar. It is about their limitations. It is about their shortcomings. Okay, so this is it. Tomorrow we will talk about how when you focus on the good gets better, or how when you focus on the good part, just like I said, when you give yourself a programming that I am fine, you become fine. Similarly, despite the sanskars, if you keep looking at the original state of the soul, so even if you feel that this soul is irresponsibly behaving, but instead of focusing on their sanskar of irresponsibility, if you just could nurture this one thing that this is a responsible soul, then you could make them responsible. Okay, so focus on not who they are, focus on what you want to make of them. All right, so we will talk something about it tomorrow also. Now there are some questions, so let me take that up. If we keep giving and don't receive the same respect, care, or love, it leaves a bad, low feeling. Because it's not the giving that is giving you a low feeling. Because you are giving with the hand, and in the mind, what are you creating? I'm miserable, I'm not getting, I am the victim, or I am the foolish person only giving. So you are giving with one hand, and then you are not dignifying your act of giving in your own mind. So this is what is making you miserable, right? So, mostly when people give, they create a thought, I've been made a fool by this person, and this person is only taking, and I am the one giving. So you are creating a thought, I am foolish, or I am the, weak one, or why am I giving? So it's your thought that is giving you an empty or low feeling. All right, fine. Then it feels like all our energy is drained, and the feeling of loneliness leaves a sadness. So loneliness is because of our thought process, right? So I tell you, I have been conducting classes and being on this seva for 12 to 13 years now. And most of the time it is not reciprocated. But then that doesn't leave me with a low feeling, because I don't give to take, I give because I have been given a lot. So every time I give, I thank that Lord for giving me so much and being capable to give. So in that gratitude, my gifts multiply, and I don't have to look at reciprocation or the giving back for me to feel full. Okay, so as women, we work all day, kitchen work, cleaning, outside job, taking care of kids and husband. Expectations appear in mind naturally. What should we do to stop coming expect? So you are Shakti. You as a woman are Shakti. And a Shakti is always combined with Shiv. So you are a Shiv Shakti. So you should always keep praising yourself within, that I am that Shiv Shakti who is capable of doing such a lot. And when you have this kind of a commentary inside, you will not be in expectation naturally. So your thoughts will always be high energy. So it's your internal conversation. This is why I took up this topic today, right? Didi, we acquire sanskars in our journey of life. Same for the children. They acquire what we teach them or they watch and learn from their surroundings. Correct? So sometimes they feel that their cousins are prioritized. So, how do we explain things to them to not feel bad about what is happening and help them to not bring negative thoughts in their mind? As we understand, everyone has their own sanskars, but how to explain to them, after all, they are kids. So, that they are not accepted with an open heart in one situation. So, for example, maybe your parents prioritize your brother's kids before your kids, all right? So you don't have to highlight that by focusing on that. And even if your kids point that out, you tell them it's okay, it's their judgment and they don't understand it, so it's okay. So when you start focusing on that this thing is happening, so you are making it bigger in their mind. So what you do is you compensate that by giving your kids the reassurance that they are fine, they are good, they are respectful, and not do it as a reaction to what your parents are doing. You do it as an action that you think is required. So, when we come from a place of reaction, we are actually empowering the attack. So if I try to tell you, you calm down because you are hurt, so then I'm saying calm down, but actually I am reminding you you are hurt. So do you get this? This is very psychological. So you need to calm them down. You need to give them the message that you are fine and you are great and you are doing well, but not as a reaction to what other people are doing. You just need to do it as a role of a parent, and you can't save them from their karmic settlement also. So if they are in a situation where they have to face this is also that soul's karma in some way. So you just let them go through it smoothly and do your bit as a parent of telling them that they are wonderful and graceful and they are the best and they are most capable and you love them and there's nobody like them. Okay, and this works. If parents give this message to kids, this message has no other substitute and your kids will just grow fine. If we stop expecting everything from others, it will be very difficult to operate in this world, because then we will lose the motivation to share love others. No, your love should depend on your personal spiritual policy, like we discussed yesterday. Your love, if it is dependent on whether somebody loves you back, then you have already lost everything you had. You just think you have not lost it, you've already lost it. So my love doesn't depend on reciprocation or what other people are doing for me, because my love is a pure energy and a pure energy can never be conditional. Once it is conditional, it has lost its purity. Okay, Om Shanti. We will discuss these things in greater detail for it to, settle into the belief system, because I understand that we have had so many births in body consciousness that it is difficult to internalize this, but gradually it will. So we will have more sessions on these things and you will get it. Om Shanti. Let's meditate for some time. Sit still and quiet. And come to your self-awareness. That I am a dignified, graceful soul. My conversation with myself is based on self-respect. I never put myself down, never compare myself with anyone. I do not create low energy thoughts. I am fine. I am the giver. I am full. I am respectful, loveful, peaceful. I do not want anything. I am full of these treasures. I am worthy. I have great value for myself. I do not need to be approved of by anybody. I am always in self-esteem and self-honor. I conduct myself coming from this place of self-assured behavior. Let me sit with these thoughts for some time. Om Shanti.
हम खुश नसीब कितने, प्रभु का मिला सहारा। हम खुश नसीब कितने, प्रभु का मिला सहारा। हम हो गए उसी के, हम हो गए उसी के, वो हो गया हमारा हमारा। हम खुश नसीब कितने, प्रभु का मिला सहारा। हम हो गए उसी के, हम हो गए उसी के, वो हो गया हमारा हमारा। हम खुश नसीब कितने, प्रभु का मिला सहारा।